Well, I had a quick bite to eat, and I am back. I'm going to run through all the babies, what I saw. Now, I had a number of people say, oh, so-and-so didn't look as good, or so-and-so made a break, or so-and-so looked really good. You guys have to understand, we can't have the babies firing on all cylinders every single week. I want to see them achieve what we need them to achieve, do it in a timely fashion, and then put some work in. A horse like, and I keep going back to Fusspot, only because I'm super impressed with what I've seen from Fusspot, always. Not impressed when we broke her, how bad her attitude was. How flighty she was, how hot she was, how she really just didn't want to do her work. But, you know, when you look at how far she's come in a short period of time, really you couldn't ask a horse to do more than what that filly has done. So with the track being graded, the track was hard in the fall, and they had a little cushion on it, but it was still pretty hard, and it needed some material. And then that hellish week last week where the grader got stuck on the track and it just ruined the track. You know, it wasn't really enough's enough. It was just a perfect storm, and we had to have, I had a grader come in, called around and found a guy with a grader to come in, clean the track up properly with that big heavy machine, and they did a great job. And then we put 4 loads of stone dust on the track. Now it's great, but it's different for the horses, right? So there's a little change. Horses that needed flip-flops and seemed great on that harder track with flip-flops on might be spinning their wheels a little bit with those same shoes on, now that the track has a little more give and it's a little deeper than it was. So again, for us and for the horses, this new added hurdle is in front of us. And you saw some horses make some breaks in odd places yesterday, and rightfully so, attributed to the track for sure. So as that track settles in and tightens up, again, you'll be able to push the horses harder. But yesterday, we went between 30 and 29 and 38 with almost all of them. Some made breaks, some looked like they struggled a bit, and we've made some changes to their shoeing today. A few of them, we made changes to their shoeing today, but for the most part, a very good day. So we'll get right into it. Ale Sund was very good. Now, she was on the right line for the past month. She wears a head pole and a Murphy blind on the inside. Pretty standard operating procedure, if you will. Pretty standard equipment for horses that run in. We're going to add a head pole. If they're still on the line, we'll put a Murphy blind. If they're still on the line, bigger head pole. Then we got to do some investigating. There's lots that we can do, but these are the preliminary steps to straightening those horses up. And now she's come away from that head pole and the Murphy blind. You could say she's getting sounder. You could say she's getting stronger or better. Obviously, I don't want to say there's something now on the left side bothering her, but she came off that right line, and she's a little bit on the left line running away from that equipment we put on her. So it's a simple matter of first things first, take the equipment off and see if she trots squarely. You could see how strong she was yesterday. Finished up her mile very, very good. Probably one of the silent killers, if you will, in our bunch, where people just don't see her. They don't see how well she looks, how good she looks, how strong she is. They kind of miss her in all the hustle and bustle. Ale Sund doesn't usually get talked about. She's a strong filly, and she's getting better every week. Really happy with what I've seen from her. Anteros, here's a horse, victim of the track yesterday, I believe. Looked good. Jason said he made a break finishing up. You're going to see horses come out of that turn at the clubhouse, Sarah, where we're at, where everybody gathers in that turn. That's a rather tight turn, and when they come out of that turn and they switch leads and square up, that's where a lot of horses, and I mentioned it yesterday when I was speaking. You guys didn't get to hear it live, but you'll hear it on the updated videos. I talk about how all the Sebastian K's we have, got to watch them in that one spot. And sure enough, Sebastian Yu ran there. Sebastian Ray used to make breaks there. He's better now. Johan made a break coming out of that turn, and I believe that's where Anteros ran. Now, obviously, he's not a Sebastian K, but that switching leads, the horses have to learn to do that quickly. He learned to do it on a harder track. Now the track's a little softer, a little more give to the track. He might spin a little bit off that surface. It may interfere somewhere else. Not a big deal. It's just a matter of learning how to trot on a different surface. Now, for instance, this isn't anything new. When you look at Lawmaker last year made that break in Philadelphia. Lawmaker doesn't run, but Philadelphia's track's always been skeptical, and on that particular day it was rather deep in that portion of the track, and he rolled off. There's a horse very sure-footed. We could go on and on how different tracks, and Andrew stayed on top of this, where if we were going to a track where it was a little deeper, he'd add a little grab to the shoes, which is obviously smart. And that's how you would attribute that, knowing the surfaces you're going to. Changing the surface you're at, that's something a little different. So there are some horses that made breaks. Certainly nothing that bothered me. So both Anteros, I thought, looked fine, did his work well. Jason was happy with him. Again, I'll sit up and go with him one of these days, but for right now, he's just a real nice horse to be around and a real good worker. Arctic Forest, Danny was very happy with him. Somebody sent me a cryptic message about how they thought Arctic Forest wasn't as good. Well, I don't know what they're expecting from Arctic Forest, but I thought Arctic Forest was fantastic, and I know Danny was happy with him. Said he was on the left line a touch. No big deal. Just slap a Murphy blind on the outside of him. Let him roll along. This may sound like band-aids to you guys where, oh, don't you want to know what's wrong? These are conditioning athletes. It could be a million things wrong. I need to know when it's continuous, it gets worse, it's very obvious, or it's something that, well, under what I said continuous, it's mounting. So if he's on the left line a little bit, then in 2 weeks he's on the left line a little bit more. Then in 4 weeks, we're not doing anything to correct this. And in 4 weeks, now you can see him, he's on the left line hard. Something's going on. You better wake up and pay attention. When they just bite that left line a little bit, he might have nicked himself, might have a bruise. It might be a million things. First things first, was he off? Answer from Danny, no, he was fine. He's on the left line. Put a Murphy blind on the outside. We'll train him down, and we'll reassess next week. But Arctic Force, Danny was very happy with him, and Danny's very critical too. If there's something wrong with them, he's the first one to let me know. Arctic Force, no complaints from Danny, no complaints from me. Beach Boutique was very, very good. I know they came a pretty good last half in that set. Danny's pretty cognitive of what they're doing also, and if he feels the filly's being stretched, he's going to protect her. He just wrapped her up and let her settle down, and he was very happy with her, and I was very happy with her also. Beach Bum BB, he loves going with her the same way that I did. Danny and I have worked together for a very long time, and I love Beach Bum BB. I've said this to you from day one, and I've continued to say it. She's now getting smarter. This week we added that gear to Pine Creek, and she took it well, the way that I knew she would. She just needed time to do it. Beach Bum BB's the same way. Probably needs a Murphy blind or a head pull on the outside, but she's a fighter. So pick your day, probably Monday, starting Monday. We'll start wearing line poles on her, maybe put a Murphy blind outside. Once she understands, she's fast, but you can see her run in and run out. She's just a little rubbernecked. Plus, she wears flip-flops, tracks deep, but she's a worker. Again, she's going to work through it, and she did the other day. She looked great. Bend Over. Hey, what about Ben? Ben looked good again. I got a message from one of my partners on Bend Over. A client. Actually, no, I don't own any of Bend Over. I lied. A client that owns Bend Over. And he said, geez, 100% better, and I agreed, 100% better. So it's getting better all the time. Still, he's slowly trying to climb his way out of that we need to geld him area. I don't know if he's out of there yet, but he was good the other day. Progression, last 5 weeks now in a row, progression for Ben Dover. Bottle of Red, good every week. Mario said, geez, she's really fast, and she is. She is a really nice filly. Just go back and watch her videos. She's always been in the mix, just nobody really pays attention to her. She's really good gated, no boots, no poles, just fast. Nice filly. Bottle of Red looked good yesterday. Brush Cut looked good. I said to Colin, just keep him quiet. We added a snake cord to his mouth. He can get a little grabby sometimes. Now the issue with him is when he gets grabby, he doesn't just pull on you, he ducks his chin. That's a problem. So I want to nip that in the bud right now. We just put a snake cord, which is a little added pressure on his jaw when you grab him. Colin said he was 2 fingers training. He was very, very happy with him. Cabernet looked good again. I keep telling you, every time she puts a pound on, she's going to look better. And she continues to put weight on in advance. She's a really, really talented filly. Canadian Titan made a little break when Steve was down in the deeper part of the track in the turn, which would be the before the start, which would also be the 3/8. In that area. He get down in that deeper turn, that deeper stuff down there. There's a little snow and dirt in there, and she rolled off. But once he had her out and going on the outside of the track, out in the middle of the track, she looked really good. Canadian Titan continues to advance. I'm going to tell you again about a filly. Capistrano is her name. Now, Capistrano was broken under a month ago. really had no business being out there going in a set. We shortened her period of time of jogging by a week or two, put her in, I tried to find her a set I could put her in, knowing that she's very talented, and put her in a pretty deep end of the pool for her first ever training trip in a group scenario outside of what you guys saw the week before, which was really just jogging. A big mile and a very impressive mile. Capistrano is a filly you guys are going to be forced to look at very closely in the next few months. This is a War We Needy. No red flags, no exclamation marks are going to go up from War We Needy out of a sister to Mr. Feelgood. Should maybe take a look. And then when you see her on the track, man, oh man, we let her hobbles out, let her head down. She doesn't wear a boot or a pole or anything, and just knows. She somehow knows things she shouldn't know. You have her in a hole. She's quiet. You can see her throwing her head a little bit. We haven't even had her teeth done yet. She still has her wolf teeth in. She's never been floated. Just put a bridle on her, and we've been putting work into her, catching up, and she hasn't even had her teeth done yet. You can see her floating her head and looking around. Man, oh man, you ask her to pace. What a beautiful filly. I took 8 minutes to talk about how I wasn't going to talk about Fusspot one day. Capistrano's another filly you're gonna pay very close attention to over the next few months. A very, very nice filly. Cheatin' Dixie missed this week again. Her knees are getting better. We're very cognizant of that. Cheatin' Dixie's knees bother her. No big deal. She's a Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. It's not something that's rare. It's very common, especially for that breed. Understanding it's there. She'd already trained in 248 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So I'm not concerned with her trotting. I don't want to hurt her, and I want to make sure that we get a level of, one, if her knees are sore, how long does it take her to recover? How long does it take for those knees to get good? Two, we've already looked at her knees. There's nothing structurally wrong. There's nothing wrong with them now. The problem is she's got that weak third carpal bone that the Dewey, Cheatham, and Howes are renowned for having. Not a big deal, though. I was happy with what I saw on the track the other day. She'll make the next drone set for sure, and she'll catch up. But Cheatin' Dixie, again, managing the situation. Her knees are bothering her. Change her footwear. Get her checked to make sure that we can continue on. If under x-ray and other things, if they say, yes, she's good to go, then use your head. Use some common sense. Use your eyes. Does she look like she's comfortable and ready to go? Up until the other day, I would have said no. She could have went on Saturday, but that wouldn't have been very fair to her. She hadn't trained in 3 weeks. So Cheatin' Dixie will be back on schedule, I would assume, in the next week. Classic Con, one of our partners had called me and said, Classic Con looked a little flat, maybe? I thought he looked a little flat, too. I saw him go by me twice. I asked Mario after. He said, Anthony, I came a half in 13 with him. That's as much or more than you could ever ask a horse to go this time of year. The fact is, the front end was going that much. This time of year, you get to that point where the cream starts to settle in different places with these horses. The good ones are the good ones. The medium ones are catching up, hopefully. The bad ones are trying to catch them, and then you have, hopefully, none, but there's usually a couple that are like, I don't know. And so far, we have a couple where their attitudes are in question, but as far as structural ability or talent, we don't have any issues with that just yet. But when you're coming a half in 12 on the front end, it's pretty hard to catch up, right? Now, the obvious question, somebody did pass him. They look pretty good too. So I would say maybe Classic Con was a bit flat. Given the circumstances, given the track, let's just give him a bye because he's looked tremendous all the way around. And Mario was very happy with him afterwards also. I'd like to give you more first-hand information on him. I haven't gone with him. This is a horse that Mario's coveted, been very, very careful with since day one, and has gone with him. I think the only time I went with him was the first day, just a nice horse. And Mario's always raving about him. So nothing to be concerned about this week. I'd say just the track maybe tired him out a little bit. I know there's a couple in here. I went with one especially. Jailhouse Master we'll talk about later. He was exhausted. He wears the... Anyway, we'll get to him later. Anyway, Classy Will looked good. Mark keeps going. He says, when you're going slow, he grabs into you really hard. And then when you go with him, the problem is that, I want the horses following 1, 2, 3, 4. I want the horse in fourth to be on the back of the horse in third. That's how I want our horses trained. And a couple of these older guys, they like to sit back a little bit, like 2 lengths. I don't want to give them any room. They're going to learn up there. They're not learning back here. So put them up on a helmet. And I think Classy Will, if you ride him up on someone, he wouldn't be grabby the way he was. He needs to learn to behave in a situation like that. If we put a snake cord in his mouth, I guarantee you he won't be grabby. So Classy Will, I was happy with what I saw. He moved him a couple of times. He looked good. He just needs to behave, and he needs to be taught. So maybe have a little switch up next week. Maybe I'd like to say I'll go with him, but I probably won't be able to. You know, I have as many sets as I have because I have at least that many horses to go with. So, and I certainly can't have 15 sets. I mean, we could float the idea of doing our drones Friday and Saturday, splitting it up. It's gonna cost me more money, that's for sure. So we'll see if that's a possibility. Potentially, gotta understand too, Curtis is a very busy person too. I can't just say, hey Curtis, Friday, Saturday, need you there. He would, but you know, he does some basketball stuff here, and he has his own business. He drones for Blake McIntosh also. So you know, there's a number of things going on there, but we can float the idea, and if we have to, we will. So Classy Will, Compass Rose DC was good. Again, she kind of gets in that tougher class, and she can go with them. But I think if we dropped her down, she's going to look really good. I think it's just going to be constantly drop her down and get her confidence up, put her back up with the other ones, and let her trot with them. She's as good as anybody we have, I think. But we need that attitude to continue to progress. Jason was very happy with her. I think Jason went with her. Jason was very happy with her yesterday. He had mentioned to me after that she seemed better than she did the time before. So I'm happy with Compass Rose DC, and I mentioned it in our drone video. I'd spoke about her. Always like this filly, always like her gait. Really interested to see what she's going to be able to do. Crazy Mission made a little break, but Colin Kelly fessed up. He said, my fault. He put a little step in. I tapped him on the tail. I should have known better, especially when Mario told him, hey, just take your time, you know, with the colt, and give him some room. He's a nice colt. He just kind of rushed him, and he made a little break, but he come back good after that. So Crazy Mission good again this week. Don't Believe Me, Just Watch was much better. Steve Labonte went with him this week. Ricky had been going with him before, and Steve said, no, I really like him. He seems to have a nice gait. He said, I like him with a tiny bit shorter hobble, but they're short as we can get them right now. So outside of buying a special set of short centers, we're going to leave them just there for now, but Don't Believe Me, Just Watch look great this week. Effusive continues to look good. Mark Isabel just keeps going with him. One of these days I'll get up and go with him, but that's a lie. I can't go with him for a while, but somebody else will go with him soon enough. Always looks good, always attacking, always aggressive, always competitive. Effusive look great. Emerald Miss, filly get a little tired out. Jason said the other day she got that quick little gait, and she's got flip-flops on too. A little tired in the deep footing yesterday, he said, but she did her work well and was very smart on the track. He goes with her all the time. He likes her, and he said, yeah, she's very, very smart filly, and I liked what I saw today. Enjoying my life. Really just toyed with them today. I toyed with them yesterday. She was in a little bit easier division, and really looked head and shoulders above them. Enduring Strength looked good. He's going to be slated to be castrated soon, this colt. Little hot again yesterday, but really getting this when he's in motion, when he's in the mile, better and better. But that bad, we don't want any bad streaks in him getting into that mile. And if we have to, not if, we will castrate him and get him under control. No concerns yet, but I just know from previous experiences with Angus Halls, once they pass that red line, once they get past that Angus Hall red line, they don't come back very often. You can geld them, TQ them, do what you want. Once they've fully indoctrined their father's voices into their head, they don't come back. And I won't let that happen to Enduring Strength, because he's got a wealth of talent, and I won't let him squander it. So we will be castrating him in the coming week. Excellent Nation looked fantastic. You guys didn't know this, but 2 days before the drone, Excellent Nation trained before that. And Danny said, well, I trained him 2 days ago in 45. So he'll be fine. We're only going slow. My God, this horse, when he attacks, he means it. He means business. I like everything about Excellent Nation, and have for quite a while. And Danny hides this guy pretty good. He loves this horse. Fox Valley Shazam, I get up alongside Colin Kelly. We're in our mile, and he says, who is this? I says, your muscle mass filly. He said, wow, this thing's a tank. And she did look good. Fox Valley Shazam made a few shoeing changes on her at Christmas time, and Santa brought her a whole new bag of tricks. My God, can she go? Film Fanatic looked good again. This horse, you're going to see him continue to progress. He's just a nice horse, as he should be. He's every week I say it, and I catch myself at the last minute. He's out of a sister to All Bets Off, and Just a nice horse. So Film Fanatic looked good. Forged and Fire looked good, but Colin Kelly had mentioned to me going by me the second time. He said, "Has he ever had that line pole on?" I said, "No, I don't think so." And he just got laying up on it, and he made a break. Just repetition. He needs to learn to go with it. But man, oh man, he said, yeah, he's got a beautiful gait, this trotter. He's trotting. Just a little immature. He was sick for a while, so missed a couple of real good foundation weeks that the other horses didn't. And he'll be catching up along the way. But really, really nice colt. French Twist is a gelding. He didn't go on Friday because we gelded him on Wednesday. There's the other Angus Hall. Again, there's no coincidence there. This is indicative of the breed. They can get a little ornery, a little bully, and you really got to nip that in the bud. French Twist was getting a little rude on and off the track. That will come to an end. So that's French Twist. I'm just keeping an eye on my time. I'm going to chop this list in half. As I said before, I can only get to 32 minutes and the video cuts off for some reason. Frontier Cruise looked good again. I knew he'd struggle in that big track, though. That heavy track, a big colt like him, I figured he'd struggle a little bit. He did a little bit, but again, attacking and looked great. Just a nice horse, and I can't imagine there'll be a position where he won't continue to look like a nice horse for quite some time. Fuss Pot. I said to Colin, easy, learn today, and every time you go there, learn. And she's so smart, she will. I said, move her, stop her, put her in a hole, and let her finish up. And she was great. He said, yeah, she's a real beast. She's a nice filly. Globetrotting, we actually come on the track with hobbles on Globetrotting because she does interfere a little bit. She's a little weaker when I have concerns that maybe she won't be able to attack when I need her to. So we want to indoctrinate those hobbles into her right now to put her in a more attacking, aggressive mode. She couldn't wear them, so I took them off her. She couldn't wear them because she had too much weight on up front, so we took them off her. She was good in her mile, really good, strong, you could tell, and I'd mentioned a few times, she's on the right line real hard, which I have no idea. I couldn't see anything mechanically wrong with her, but she was on that line, so I had asked the blacksmith, switch her shoes around. We're going to tinker with some hobbles and get them on her this week and get her used to them, and get her training with them, but no problems there. She's been in 236. She's ahead of the curve, and I have no issues with Globetrotting. Gold Watch, another one of the horses that come in later on. You're going to keep your eye on this colt. This is a brother to Linnea. Linnea is guilty of being one of the biggest talent squanderers I've seen in recent history, but this is a male Linnea, and he doesn't seem like her. Very aggressive, very aggressive. So he's going to be one of our early castration patients also, simply because I want him under control and doing his work well from day one. I'm not going to allow him an inch of latitude to have any thoughts in his head like his sister does. Now, they're by two different sires. I don't really see the similarities on the track or the mannerments, so I'm happy in that regard. Good size colt, especially for he's watching. Most of them, outside of our big Watch Av colt, is they can be a little small. This guy's small, medium, good size, well-bred. I think he's going to turn out to be a good-looking horse. Danny really liked what he saw the other day. I think everybody did. If you go back and look at the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. Another horse Danny loves every week is Harness AM. She gets better and better all the time. Actually, Mario just got by her there and pulling up. He said, who Danny have there? Because you could see you can move her like a pacer now, Harness AM. Very, very handy, very smart filly, and a very impressive filly in her own right. Havana Una Na. I put her on the run. I scared her with a whip at the start. I tapped my horse, and when my whip was up, I could hear her do it. As soon as I moved my whip, I could hear her move and make a break, and not a big deal. She's a true champ, though. She came right back trotting, and she was good the rest of the way. Really nice filly. I showed her off a couple of weeks ago. Certainly no concerns with Havana Una Na. I really like that filly. I like her attitude. I like her work ethic. Everything about her, just a nice filly. Hometown Boys. Another critic said, yeah, he was okay. Hometown Boys is better than okay. He's learning to be a horse. He won a mile in 2:33 last half in 17 in January. This is a horse we could barely get to jog at a fast clip when we brought him in from the Amish that broke him, because the Amish jogged them at the same speed, put incredible miles on them, but no speed into them. So you have to teach a horse to go fast. And we've been trying to teach him, and Mario had to get at him, but mile 33 last half in 17, he's slowly creeping into a position where you can easily say, cruising in style is his full brother. He had two faults. I said it all the time. He was hot, and he was really worrisome all the time, really wound all the time. Because of that, he was really small, frail, not small, but frail and thin. This colt's fat and lazy, and he's finally starting to get it now. When Mario asked him to go by me down the backstretch, I had Pine Creek. He just blew right by me and kept going. This colt's learning to do what we need him to do, and I see incredible leaps and bounds. And for people to say, I don't know, maybe you don't know, but he looks incredible from where I saw him when he came in and where I was concerned he might be going. Obviously, when you see a horse that is doing this, you're like, is he going to pan out? Is this horse going to be okay? Very happy with what I saw from Hometown Boys yesterday, as Mario was. I'll Play It Alone really struggled with the track. We pulled his hobbles in. Shouldn't have done that. He made a break on Ricky the week before, and Ricky said, oh, his hobbles are too long, and they weren't. They might have been. They might have been a little long. I can't really say that, but you could tell he was struggling yesterday, and it was definitely just the hobbles. So, or it was the track, sorry. So probably let his hobbles out one hole. I might put a little set of brace bandages on him tomorrow. When I say they struggle with the track, what I mean is they don't have the same grip on the track, and a lot of them will crossfire. And you could tell that's what I'll Play It Alone was doing. You're simply just crossfiring a bit and getting out of gear. Just colt stuff. We can fix that pretty easy, I would suggest, and we will. Inland Beach, I know she moved a couple of times now. I was talking and looking at Capistrano so much. I was a little enamored with her. I didn't watch Inland Beach closely, and I didn't talk to Ricky. I watched a little bit of the video. It looked like she was moving along good. She's a filly we put flip-flops on. I thought she might struggle on the track yesterday. No complaints from Ricky, so I assume she went well. I know she's a nice horse, so I'm certainly not concerned with Inland Beach. Horse I was a little bit concerned about yesterday was Jailhouse Master. He was exhausted when he came in. I had said to the blacksmith today, I said, we're going to change his shoes. He's really struggling in that deeper track. We'll get him. His ass is really high. I'm almost tempted to turn that colt out for about a month just to let him catch up. He's clearly going through this giant growth spurt. We'll see how he goes Wednesday. That's obviously in the cards too. He was broken going before everybody else. He has a lot of miles. Didn't really miss any time at all. So he can afford to maybe miss a couple of 3 weeks, maybe a month. So Jailhouse Master, he was just tired because of the track yesterday. Johan, you guys didn't see this, but when Johan went on the track, he was completely unglued yesterday. We changed his shoes up front. He trots so smoothly and he's so fluent and fast. I said, don't want to hurt him in the winter. Let's put a set of flip-flops on him and just cover him up for a while. He does not like trotting in flip-flops in that deep track. He was completely unhinged yesterday when he came on the track. I had to come in, change all his equipment, add some weight to him up front to virtually force him to trot. And then he went out and did his work, and he obliterated a field of pacers. But he's just talented. I said to the blacksmith today, just take those shoes off, put the other ones back on. We'll work on his feet. They don't bother him, but I was just trying to be proactive. I was trying to prevent anything, headed off at the pass, so to speak, and he doesn't want any part of that. So we'll put his old shoes back on him. Just For Me and You continues to look good. Just keep your eye on this filly. I don't think there's any shares left in her, but for reference purposes, keep your eye on the progression of Just For Me and You. Just a really, really talented filly. Looks good every week, and when I see her, she just looks more confident on the track, more fluid. Just a beautiful filly. Knockdown Drag Out continued her assault on our babies this week. Just move her at will, attack at will, and punish them. I don't want to. I thought, well, we'll put her in pacers. I moved to the front, one comment, I'm like, this filly's a bull. I could have went around 3 more times with her. Just a really, really nice filly. I can't say enough about her. I don't have to talk about her. You guys can see her every week. Just a really nice filly. And the Sebastian K's, man, oh man. Every time I go with these Sebastian K's, I'm more convinced that he's going to be a good sire and should be, rightfully so, and probably breed our 2 mares to Sebastian K, I would think, in the coming months. Where are we at? Labero Hanover. I didn't see Labero Hanover yesterday. I apologize. I didn't see him, and I did not ask who went with him. I can tell you he probably went good. He always goes good, this horse. He never does anything wrong. The first day, it was funny because I can't remember the other horse. Master Saver did it the first week we had him. He was worse than Libero, much worse than Libero. But Libero was destructive the first day on the track. And then ever since that day, he's been perfect. And just a complete gentleman on the track. Just all business all the time. Just a nice horse. Libero Hanover, I would love to tell you how he went yesterday. I'm a little embarrassed to say I did not see him go. And I did not talk to who went with him. But I can almost be certain that he probably went good because he's been going good forever. McPherson Thunder. We're going to castrate McPherson Thunder, I believe. He came down with a little bit of the virus yesterday. I said, you know what? Why don't we nip 2 things in the bud? Castrate him, give him 3 weeks off, let him get over this virus once and for all, and let him heal up, and we'll go from there. So I think McPherson Thunder has punched his ticket into geldingism. He's going to be heading to the vet first part of the week to be castrated. Marzank Hanover, my God, this is a beautiful filly, isn't it? Jeepers. I saw her the other day on the track. I pointed her out to Amy. I said, there's Daryl's horse in the video last night. She's just beautiful. And Jason went with her, said, Jesus, a really, really nice filly. And she is. They had a Murphy on the outside because she gets a little twisted in the straightaways. They took it off yesterday, or maybe they didn't put it on. I don't know. Jason said she was on the left line, but I know she usually wears one. Beautiful filly, though. Master Treaty even looked okay yesterday before he made a little break. This is a horse I don't generally talk about that much. Chad owns him. Chad's a good guy, a friend of mine. I had flat out banned Vintage Master from the barn, and we'll do anything for our clients. He had bought this horse and said, could you break him? And could you break him turned into could you train him? And we're training him right now. So Master Treaty actually looked okay yesterday. McNugget looks good. Now Ron that takes care of her says that splint that we crowd still bothering her a bit. I just told him to flat out blister it. I like the way she looked, and every time she loses pounds, she just goes faster and faster. She looked great yesterday. Now Disco had her coming with a full head of steam. I can't remember who I had on the front, but he got to me and I said, just hold on. The horse, I think I had Globetrotting maybe. I said, this horse gets really timid when you drop down in front of them. I said, just stay on the outside. Just stay on the outside of me. And he did. And when he geared her down, he really just couldn't get her started back up. Just a transition. Just now that I know she's going to do that, I'll do that every week with her now. She's going to have to learn to maneuver and be a little more pliable on the track. We want her to be ready for these situations in the summer. And McNugget's very fast filly, very nice filly. And this is the stuff we got to work on. Miss Brampton Beast had a bit of a temperature, so she didn't go yesterday. She's perfect. What do you want me to say about Miss Brampton Beast? She does everything right. She does everything great. Just a nice filly all around. So she can miss a week whenever she wants, the way she goes. Miss Mischief Maker looked great again on the track. My goodness, this filly can trot. Mario likes her. How can't you like her? You sit behind Miss Mischief Maker. You don't like Miss Mischief Maker. You just don't like horses. She's just a nice filly on the track. Muscle Chrome looked good again. I believe Disco went with her. 32 minutes. I believe Disco went with Muscle Chrome. Did everything right all week. Has done everything right for a month. Just continues her march forward. Really, really impressed with this filly and what she has become. I'll be right back in a minute. We'll start off with Nancy. She was bad yesterday. Be right back in a minute with Nancy Allison. I am back. We ended off with Muscle Chrome. We'll start with Nancy Allison. Now, Nancy Allison was a bit erratic. It was my fault, too. Nancy Allison was in 2 sets yesterday. She was in the first and the last. She acted up in the first. She acted up less, but a little bit in the last. I trained Nancy Allison at 2:30 on Monday or Tuesday of last week. I've been working hard with her. We had her on a good routine, but the beginning of that routine every day was that she spent about 2 hours every morning in the field. And like an idiot, I put her in the first set. That was her best horses. I said, no, I'm going to put her in the first set. Didn't dawn on me that probably putting her in the 5th or 6th would be much better for both of us. And she was unglued yesterday. Very strong-willed filly. But she doesn't have, I'll stop short of saying she's a bad attitude. She's just got a very strong will. We came to an agreement in the middle of the week how she was going to behave, and then I broke the agreement. So that's the way it is. It was a breach of contract problem is what it was. So Nancy Allison acted up quite a bit, but you could see the talent in the way she moves on the track in both sets when she was acting herself. She'll get it. She'll get it. Just it's incumbent on me to understand that there's certain lines that I can't cross also. She's stubborn enough where she's drawn lines, and I've chosen not to cross those lines. As I said, we came to a mutual agreement, so to speak, and I broke it. So Nancy Allison will be fine the next time. I think she's set up, hung up, shod, has everything right the way she needs it right now. Just have to have her head screwed on straight, and I put her in a spot to be bad, and she was. So not her fault, I guess, on Friday. Need your opinion. 2 wins in a row, I believe, if I watch the set again. Colt's a groom. He's got 2 wins in a row and need your opinion. This is a filly I love, and everybody's going to learn and grow to love her. This is Matt Chappell's filly from Western Ontario and down not Woodstock, Chatham. He lives in Chatham. But man, oh man, she's just a beautiful filly. She's a worker. Goes out there. We got her in the bottom set, and she won the other day again. 2 weeks ago, she beat them twice. I'm going to train her a good mile maybe on Wednesday and get a feel for her. I haven't had a chance to go with her in sets yet, but don't need to. Colt keeps winning with her. So need your opinion. Looked great. Olympic hopeful. I said to Colin, gee, she looked great. And what happened? He said, that's my fault. She put a step in, and I tapped her on the tail. I know better. He said, I shouldn't have done that. And she just made a little break, come back trot, and she was fine. This is a filly that is, I said this is one of our best gated fillies in the property. Her gait, speaking of her gait, probably one of the best gated fillies on the property. Just a beautiful filly to watch. So, Olympic hopeful, not a big deal. Certainly no concerns there. Path of Totality, she got a little weak in that track. I thought she might. This is a filly I've always said she's like a twin of Miss Mischief Maker, a horse I hold in extremely high regard in this farm. And Path of Totality just got a little weak in that deep track and rolled off. But she's a good probably month exercise-wise away from Miss Mischief Maker. So Path of Totality made a little break on Ricky in that deep stuff, but she bounced back fine. Pine Creek, maybe not the metamorphosis I said you would see this week, but I'll meet you in the middle. Quite a progression. No breaks, behaved, moved. She's learning what she needs to do and how to do it, and she's happy to do it. This is a filly that will only get better. So Pine Creek, 238 on Friday. Very, very happy with her. Really blue chip. She was on the right line. We put a head pole and Murphy blind on her weeks ago. She was fine. Then the last two times people they said, she's creeping out on the left line. Took the Murphy blind off, back to the right line. So she was on the right line a little bit on Ricky yesterday. But for the most part was really, really good. Really happy with her. Rocking Out Loud was good again. She has flip-flops on. I figured small frame filly and a deep track with a set of flip-flops on, she was going to struggle yesterday. Now, Colin said she was good, but she did struggle a little bit, and she certainly hasn't struggled in quite a while. There's no shortage of stamina or speed there. She'll be fine. Just a little bit, just struggling a little bit in that regard. Rooney Blue Chip made a little break, another horse that wears flip-flops. I really want to go with this colt. He just looks so good on the track. I want to go with him, see how he feels. So I think I'm going to try and go with this colt the next time. Just a nice colt. This is a colt that's out of a sister to Crazed. Built, bred, and looks like a nice horse, and I suspect he will be in the coming weeks and months. Rose Run Valiant, if you listen to my commentary during the training video, he makes a little skip on Mario. I said, hey, be a little stern with this colt today. Get him moving. And then we come out of the last turn. Here comes Rose Run Valiant. He was moving. He's teetering on. He's sitting on a floater on the Lake Gelding. He's very soon going to dip in because he's struck at George the other day. Can be really ornery in the shed row. Probably going to be gelded in the next little while. But you put him in gear and make him do his work. Whew, man, oh man, can that guy trot? He was flying yesterday when he came out of the last turn. And Mario said, "Yeah, I see now." He never goes with him. He said, "Yeah, I see now." He said he's just being a goof and made a break. He said, but when I put him in gear, wow, and he can go. Rose Run Versatile. This is our filly, Amy Nice filly. We did offer up a 50% share of this filly on the site. Now, to put it in perspective, we paid $15,000. We didn't pay for it yet. We have $15,000 bill from Rose Run Farms for this filly. He sent her here. We were going to buy her. We're going to have to pay him in the next few weeks, I guess, probably. So we offered up 50% of this filly, what I think is probably around cost between taxes, shipping, operating on those hocks to take out the OCDs. Good looking filly. This is a Muscle Massive filly. This is our Muscle Massive project for 2019. 2018 was White Tiger. 2017 was Lawmaker. So we've had a pretty good run with Muscle Massive. And Casanova's Jewel also. So Rose Run Versatile looked fantastic. That was the first day she ever had hobbles on. Put them on her. She was just frustrated a little bit. She's trying to do more work than she probably was ready to do. And I said, we'll just put hobbles on her today. Little set of training wheels on her today and let her trot. Man, oh man, she looked great. Mile and 240 for this filly, or 239. Just, you can tell she wants to work and she wants to achieve Just looks great. So very, very happy with Rose Run Versatile. She's probably going to be a horse that catches your eye over the next couple of months also. Sebastian Ray did everything right again. Had a little driver issue. Jay Harris left us kind of high and dry on Friday. Never did tell me why he didn't show up. Kind of left us a little high and dry, so we had Colt and Donnie and Ricky, just anybody that could fill in going with them. Steve Labonte went with Sebastian Ray. He really liked this colt. Pretty hard not to like him. He does everything right, quick on his feet, nice colt. So Sebastian Ray looked great. Sebastian Yu really first struggled with sickness, then he had a pus pocket blow out of his foot. Just haven't been able to get him going, but I'm not concerned. You're going to see this guy's going to fit in with the other Sebastian Ks, I think, in the next few weeks. This guy loves being on the track. Made a little break in the same spot twice. Just got to watch him. I think his hobbles were a little loose. He could be a lot better, and he will be a lot better in the coming weeks and months. I really, really liked it. I got a real good look at this horse on Tuesday training, and he's a worker. He just sat outside them, and Danny called on him at that lane. He was gone. Just a beautiful horse. Made a couple little breaks the other day, not a big deal. Sometimes things happen, no shocker the way this guy hits the ground, that he was going to have some issues on Friday. He needs a stiffer track, a little harder track. He wasn't going to dig into that track with the way he moves. For a big horse, he's light on the track, doesn't really dig in deep, and made a little break on Mark Isabel, another horse that Jay was supposed to go with, but made a little break. Not a big deal. Spend that money. She cut herself, her left foot, and they said she was on the left line. She was tender on it, so maybe a little pus pocket came out of that foot, but something was bothering her on the left side the other day, and they said it was bothering her again today. I looked at her real close. Just a little, what we would call a right below where a heel scratch would be, but her heel is cut up a little bit, but it looks like something blew out the bulb of her foot, so she might have had a little pus pocket there. No big deal. She'll be fine. She was fantastic. Not Friday, but the drone before that. The other day, she kind of got run into. One of our clients put an objection from the crowd in against Mr. Peck, and it does appear there was interference there. So spend that money, got knocked off stride, but she'll be fine. Spirited Dio, probably one of the biggest movers of the week. For those of you out there hanging on your shares of Spirited Dio saying, oh my God, what's going on here? Whew, did she ever look good the other day? Set of hobbles on her, tiny equipment changes. She looked like a new horse the other day. Looked great. Very happy with what I saw from Spirit of Dio. Sunshine and Shade, talk about new horses. Mario went with him and was on a mission. All we did was put a little set of brace bandages on him behind, and he looked like a Corvette yesterday. Very happy with him. Susie K struggled a bit in the deep stuff too. She trained awesome on Tuesday, made a couple little breaks, but let's just leave it at that. Made a couple little breaks yesterday. She'll be fine. Talking Peter did not like the track, did not like the driver, did not like anything about yesterday. Then he proceeded to rip his shoe off. Jason just pulled him up and went back. I'm going to have to work with Peter this week. He goes through these mental stages where not really sure if he wants to work. For 5 weeks, he was awesome. And then over the past week, he just relapsed a little bit. Not really concerned. It's a little weird, to be honest, but they all come in all shapes and sizes, and we'll work with Talking Peter this week. We'll get him under control. Two of a Kind Hanover. This is one filly I am a little concerned about. She's lazy. I haven't been able to work her into my schedule. I'm going to have to this week because she is going to have to pick up her feet. And it's not like the Art Speaks. We have two other ones, and they're just workers nonstop. This filly's well bred and just kind of goes out and plots along. I'm sure she'll be fine. I'll end up, it wasn't really her fault yesterday. You'll hear when she comes on the track. They were late getting her on the track, and we miscounted and went to start her lap to warm up. She just come on the track. Warmed up one lap and went to follow us around in 45, and shockingly enough, she run. But she's not going to like that track either. Going to have to add some grab to her and change her bridle a little bit, and I'll work with her this week. Filly that was very impressive, Trafalgar. Another one of these three that you're going to see over the next few weeks. So the latest ones that come in. This is the sister to Buckingham. This is Buckingham's sister by Dally. I went with her the other day. This is a really nice filly. She's bigger than Buckingham right now, and big, long gait on her. Got that same kind of gritty attitude that Buckingham had. What I loved about Buckingham, I see in the early stages of this filly. This filly's a bigger, stronger filly already. Who knows? Let's see if we can extrapolate that into, if we can turn a bigger, stronger version of Buckingham out at 2, who knows what it'll be. But this filly likes the track, got a great attitude, Beautiful gait. Her name is Trafalgar. Time I'll Dazzle. Colin just went around with her yesterday. I heard Mario, when they turned in, say she was a little sick. She wasn't sick. She had a temperature of 100.1. It's like getting up and not wanting to go to work because you're having a bad day. They go to work if they're on the track, and Colin just went around easy with her, and I told him after, when they're here, they work. When they're on the track, they're here to work. And this filly, he kind of just went around with her, which is fine, but not what I wanted to see. But Time I'll Dazzle is one of her better fillies, so that'll probably pay off next time, I would say, in dividends. But I do want to see these horses working, and I do wish they had worked her a little bit harder yesterday. Time Out Kazam went great. Jason went with him. He said, I love this fat horse. I don't want to say there's any correlation between Jason and Kazam, but Jason loves Kazam. Kazam seems to like Jason too, so they get along really well, and they both look really good out there. Yours If You Want It. Mark Isbell made a little break with him yesterday. Another horse Jay was supposed to go with, but Yours If You Want It, quietly one of her better colts. Take my word for it or not, he'll prove it in the long run, I think. Yours If You Want It's a very nice colt. Utopian looked great yesterday. This is the Big Jim colt. I didn't realize he was that big. I thought he was a smaller horse. On the video, he looked bigger, and it looks like he's growing since he's got here. He's sprouted up a little bit and looks really good. I really like this colt. This is one of the first one of Bob's to come over. He's a Big Jim colt, well-bred. Keep your eye on this colt. He doesn't act like the Big Jims I've had in the past. This is a good-looking colt. Watch Av doesn't look like any of the He's Watchings I've seen. Now, we had Colt go with Watch Av. That was a mismatch. I really tried my best to get on this horse when I realized Jay didn't show up, but I couldn't. I forget who I had in there. It's one of my horses. I just couldn't. I couldn't go with him, and he made a little break and whatnot. But you know what I might do? I'm gonna wait for a little feedback. There's about 7 or 8 horses in the stable that have shares left. Now, Knockdown Dragout, I literally just got an email. Gentleman from Montreal just bought every share remaining on Knockdown Dragout. She sold. I don't even got any shares left in her. But c'est la vie. That's the way it is. We sell shares. They were for sale, and now they're sold. So Knockdown Dragout sold out. Watch Av is a horse that I'm going to go with next week with a number of other ones that have shares left, just to show them off. There's no point in hiding it. We're here to sell shares. This is a horse that I will go to bat for. This is a horse that I like, and I think shouldn't have any shares left. So we are going to look at him. I'm looking at a couple other ones here that have shares that shouldn't. Brushcut somehow has some shares left. I think Bottle of Red does. Arctic Force, Ale Sund. Wow. Excellent Nation might also. There's a lot of horses in it. Forged in Fire. These are horses that really should be shown off a little bit and allow people to take a look at them in a different light. I haven't had a chance to go with them. I might have, rather than having a drone video next week, because we don't do it every week, maybe I'll have Curtis come out and we'll shoot 5 or 6 horses. I'll show you what I like about them for a number of reasons. One, it's incumbent on me to sell them now. 2, it's good for our clients before the prices get too high to get in at an affordable rate. And it allows us to free up some of the other things we need to do in the stable without having to worry about selling shares in some of these horses. Now, having said that out loud, we haven't really got to marketing and advertising in the general public yet, and it would be helpful to have shares left in these horses. I'm on the fence. Would you guys like to see 5 or 6 horses, me go with them next week, like we did the one day before Christmas where the drone was in tighter? It was me talking to you, showing you what I liked about the horse. Would that be interesting to people? Let me know. Let me know. Drop me a line. Anyway, that's Watch Av. Watch List. Probably going to sell Watch List, I think. Nice horse. We can go on 239 right now, no problem. I don't know if he's going to be a stake horse. Realistically, if I don't think they're going to be stake horses, and there might be a couple in here, it might be better for us to just put them on the sale board and move them along. I could be wrong, but if I'm not wrong, I'm going to be saving our clients money and at the same time selling these horses to people that may not be looking for stake horses. They're just looking for a really nice, well-bred, affordable, young horse to have for the B tracks and have some fun. There are lots of people like that in the world, and we have a couple of horses that might fit that bill. Watch List is one of them. Beautiful little colt. Loves his work. Just a sweetheart, but he's small. not put together great. Is he going to be able to hold up to the rigors of racing hard in the grassroots, or heaven forbid the gold scene? I don't know. I'm not sold on that. So maybe this is a horse we'll talk about. Maybe he needs to be sold. So Bob and I have talked about that a little bit. We might explore that this week. Wiggle Delight certainly isn't going anywhere. Said to Mario after, how is he? He looks at me, he says, don't worry about her. So Wiggle Delight's doing exactly what we need her to do. She was very good. Willpower Fashion. What about old fat Will? Old chunky Will. He did not like the deep surface the other day. He was just about ready to ring the bell, the dinner bell, when he come off the track. He needs to lose about 150 pounds. And he can't, I don't like training the horses down when they're overweight. He's going to hurt himself. So we put him on thyroid. We're going to change his diet maybe this week, change the feed we feed him. I certainly don't want to feed him less. That's just what I'm talking about. But obviously, maybe he's getting too much protein or too little this. Or I'm going to talk to the vet, talk to a equine nutritionist that we work with at Brooks maybe, and put a feeding program together for Willpower Fashion, because he's a tub. He's a pork chop. But he's a fast pork chop. He looked good the other day. He might have been tired, but he still looked good doing his work. Somebody said, what did he jump over? Jumped over a big pile of shit in the track. The part of being on the track as a driver, you don't turn the horse into the rail and let the horse defecate. You don't throw shit on the track, a big pile of shit on the. What do you think's going to happen? You run 70 horses over a pile of shit on the track. How many of them are going to jump over them? How many are going to wait till one of them falls down? As a driver, that's a big no-no. You don't do that. Go inside the pylons or out to the outside of the track. You don't do that along the rail. Somebody let the horse stop and have a shit on the track in Willpower Fashion. And a number of other horses saw it and jumped over it. He was fine after, though. All business, this colt. Man, oh man. He might be fat. He might be lazy right now. But man, oh man, when he gets it together, he's going to be one good looker, because he is a really nice gated, square gated, and strong gated trotter. Just a nice horse. Then we got old Zebby. Zeb trained great on Tuesday, but then had a bit of a temperature yesterday. Didn't really want to miss that day. Zeb's Sunshine shouldn't be missing time right now with the month off he had for OCD surgery. But if he has an elevated temperature, he's going to have to miss. No snot, no coughing. Probably just an off day with this weather up and down. And we gave him the day off. So he jogged today, Saturday. Mario said his temperature was fine. Jogged him, said he was great. Everything's fine with Zeb. I'm really happy with him. I know that before he had some unsightly hobble burns and he was getting a little rough, and these are things you're going to see when horses start to train down, and two, especially when they come off OCD surgery, that hock's still weak. You took a piece of a structure out of that hock, it's going to be weak, and you're going to see that little short step sometimes, but just keep your eye on it. And it might be subtle sometimes, so it might be incumbent on the people that have Zeb Sunshine. Take a look at today. We didn't go yesterday, but next time's video, and then go back and look at the first few videos, and you can see the progression in the soundness, in the confidence, in the gait. You can see all this progression in these horses, and I miss it sometimes because we go with the horses all the time. You may miss it because you're inundated with all this raw info all the time, and you see the horses with your own eyes, but that progression is there, and you'll see it along the way. Zeb Sunshine looked great on Tuesday, and I suspect James went with him on Tuesday. He actually did come out on Tuesday. He said, this is a really nice horse. I said, well, he's bred to be a nice horse, so I hope he is. Anyway, that's it. That's the whole list. I thought we had a pretty good drone day. Some of the horses you're going to see me switch off of now. I probably can't continue to go with Knockdown Dragout. Can't continue to go with Johan. Just because there's horses that I do need to go with. Horses like Watch Av that I didn't go with. So remember what I said. Drop me a line if you'd like to see 4 or 5, 6 of these horses that we are going to move some shares on over the next week. I'm a little torn on it. We do need inventory for when we do start to market and advertise into the general public. And horses like Watch Av, perfectly priced, very affordable, a good looking horse. Might be better for me not to, but if you'd like to, I can simply do another short session next week. 5, 6, 7 horses. Curtis and I can run through them, no problem. So that's it. That's all the babies. That's all the race horses. That's your video for the week of the 19th of January 2019. I will talk to everybody soon. It is colder than a stepmother's kiss today. My God. Going to be minus 20 tonight. I'm going to freeze, but I am going to drive my girl. Pay the line, blue chip. Talk to you guys soon.